too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Have we had enough of your lies for one night? Have we felt enough of our pain to know it's real? How do you feel? Sick and tired of the lies, all I'm feeling is the pain. It's the devil in disguise while I'm standing in the rain, water pouring from the sky. But you tell me the opposite, like I don't have a consciousness, like I'm stuck in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking. But we don't do that, I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back. But if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job bent from playing segregation all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again. As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the line, but still I feel that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into Crump Live with yours truly. My name is Chandler Crump, and we are live here on a multitude of different platforms as we do every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8. This has been a good week so far, and we're not letting you down quite yet. We've held strong on the schedule so far, only slightly missed the show yesterday by 30 minutes. But either way, we keep up the show with you guys, so we're here to bring you more news and some funny stuff happening in the world. If you guys don't know, we have a daily show called The Chandler Brief, but this is our show we do at night. You know, it's the late show before it really gets late, so that I can meet you guys before your bedtimes, obviously. No, but seriously, we have a ton of stuff we're going to be talking about, and I can't wait to dig into each and every one of them. Some things concerning, some things maybe just a little bit funny, and some things I could say are very inspiring. So we've got plenty of stuff we're going to jump into. First things first, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to the people who are tuned in with us. It's Susanna Donovan, we got Tip Fernando in the chat, we've got some folks on the old channel as well, like Jose Baguela. Ooh, I have not seen that name in a while. Jose, I'm trying to remind you, you got to join in over on the new channel. We're only going to be streaming on the old channel for a little bit longer here, so soon enough you're going to have to join to the new channel. That link is available in the description. I'll also drop it in the chat for you, so make sure you subscribe to the brand new channel that we are on right now. So check it out. First story. Man, oh man, is it something. You guys saw the title of the stream. White House says that the bill aimed at avoiding grooming is a travesty, or more so, is tragic. It's going to have a tragic impact. These are things that you simply can't believe to be true, but unfortunately they are. White House Communications Director, who we haven't heard much from, you know, it's usually Jen Circleback Psaki, but she's on COVID leave, says that the Florida law banning classroom lessons on orientation and identity in kindergarten through third grade will have a tragic impact because, of course, fourth graders not being able to learn about what a gay man and his husband do at home will, of course, be a very unfortunate thing. Let's check out what she had to say directly before we respond.
Well, both the president and Secretary Cardona spoke out very forcefully against the law. The president also put out a statement yesterday about the tragic impact of this kind of law on incredibly vulnerable population. And he said that, you know, by signing this bill, the governor has chosen to target some of Florida's most vulnerable students and families, all while under the guise of parents' rights. So the Department of Education, as you noted, will monitor this law upon it.
Are you serious? She legitimately said that the law is targeting the most, what'd she say, the most vulnerable students at a time when it's pivotal? That's what she said?
You know, by signing this bill, the governor has chosen to target some of Florida's most vulnerable students and families, all while under the guise of parents' rights.
Stop the cap.
Oh my gosh, lying to our face now. Truly, the bill is aimed at parents' rights. And then she parodies that by saying it's actually targeting the real text of the bill, and we spent all day talking about this earlier today during the Chandler brief, of which if you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. But we talked about this for like 30 minutes earlier today, saying and explaining this, and it's not ringing. Clearly, it isn't ringing because these people believe it is going to have a tragic impact. Does she explain what type of tragic impact it will be? No, but I think we can see it right here. I've seen this meme floating around. I hope everyone had a good recess. It's time for math. Teachers now, whiteness is privilege. Now who is ready to hear about my sexuality? Just so true. But honestly, like, what type of tragic impact are they talking about? Because the tragic impact I believe it's going to have is that these gay teachers, of which we talked about earlier today, sadly won't get to proselytize to the children about what they do at home. Tragic impact. I can't believe it. But of course, I think they see it very differently, including this woman, who I've seen this story floating around a little bit. It's all directly connected. Doesn't have anything to say about don't say gay, apparently, but oh man, it's along the path. You think of it, don't say gay as like right here, or I guess right here, and then this next story is like right here. It's gonna keep going along the way, and it's just gonna get worse and worse. A woman has sued an in vitro fertilization clinic for wrongly implanting a male, not female embryo during in vitro fertilization, and she then gave birth to a son and likened having the male son inside of her to that, which I don't even want to say that word, but that, which is insane. A sex assault survivor is suing New York IVF clinic after it allegedly broke an agreement to insert a female embryo, and she gave birth to a boy. I don't know why this part is relevant, but still. Assistant Dean for New Student Transitions, and her wife, Robbie, her name is Heather Wilhelm, just Wilhelm is fine, and her wife, Robbie, who also works at the university as a chief diversity. This is how you can tell. Sometimes I'm going into these stories blind. This is why I have to. Sometimes I know, like, this story is going to be hilarious. Chief Diversity Officer. Are you serious? I thought this was a joke. I didn't think this was real. No. Chief Diversity Officer. Medical malpractice. Are you serious? Okay. They are suing the CNY Fertility in Latham on 11 counts, including breach of contract, medical malpractice, and battery. They are seeking unspecified damages, and the fertility clinic has refused to comment. The couple told the New York Post that they decided Heather would carry their child through IVF, after Robbie had suffered a miscarriage during their first attempt to have a daughter. They had opted to implant each other's embryos, meaning Robbie was given one of Heather's, and Heather received one of Robbie's after the first miscarriage. The couple say they were assured that all embryos implanted would be female. At first, the couple were excited to go through the motions, expecting a child all over again. However, once the couple approached the 15-week benchmark for the fertilization process, their OBGYN proceeded to check on the Q-natal test and get for certain genetic conditions, including a lack of chromosomes, of Heather's pregnancy. The doctor, whose name was not shared, asked the couple, "Wait, do you know the sex of the baby?" And Heather replied, "We're having a girl. It's very important to me that we have a girl," she added. But the couple were horrified to discover that they were actually having a boy, with Heather learning she had a male fetus inside her was like, just like that. Oh my gosh. King's Refuge says, Chief, as in there's more than one? And somebody said, OMG, the story is crazy. Truly. She likens it to feeling like she's being violated in such a manner. That is your own son, made of what you are made of. Made of what you are made of. That is your chromosomes and your wife's chromosomes combined. Some dropped here and there, but it's a combination. That's you. Are you serious? They initially feared that another person's embryo had been implanted by mistake, rather than Robbie's, but subsequent testing revealed that the embryo did indeed belong to Robbie. Recalling the moment they discovered what had happened, Heather said, "Our jaws dropped on the floor. I was convinced it had to be someone else's result. I looked at Robbie and said, what if it's not yours? Who is in my body? That's when I flipped out. That's when I felt my body was taken hostage. I assumed it was someone else's embryo, not the wrong embryo of ours. It scared the crap out of me. I don't know how to explain this. It felt like there was an alien living inside of me." I can't finish this. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I can finish this article in good conscience. Because I'm just gonna laugh, and I'm gonna get concerned. This is like, this is the stuff that really freaks you out. And believing that people really believe these things. But there's other more and more scary things that people believe. We're going to jump into more topics in a second, but I do want to remind you that this show is, of course, 100% sponsored and supported by viewers like you. So if you're interested in supporting our ability to bring this show to you every day and most nights, make sure you go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler and consider supporting our show one time. All donations, of course, go towards supporting our ability to create content. Shout out to Tiff Fernando on the old channel, Shawnette and Edward. I do want to remind you guys, though, that, of course, the channel you're watching on is not going to continue to service our show. And actually, after this quick commercial break from our sponsor, this stream will actually be shut down. So we have 18 people on the old channel. I want to remind you that this channel will not further serve us. So make sure you join over on the new channel. We'll get into that in a second. Big thank you to Shayna, Steve, Aaron, Grace, all the people who have... Sorry, Shanna. I don't know why I said it that way. Shanna, Steve, Aaron, Grace, all the people who have supported us in the past. You guys mean the world to me, so big thank you to you guys for supporting our channel. All those options are available in the description. And shout out to my folks in the Hall of Heroes, of which you guys can take over with the donation in the description below. You can also, of course, do so over on Cash App. Big thank you to them. Now, of course, we are also sponsored by My Pillow. So if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these amazingly comfortable pillows for a very great price, in fact, they're actually on a spring sale right now, make sure you go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP at checkout, to get your very own discount on a pillow for as low as $20 for their normal pillow product, as well as a book, which goes along with your purchase if you use a promo code. You can also get your hands on sheets, towels, dog beds, slippers, all sorts of stuff they got available over on their site. Just go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, for your very own discount today. All right, now let's get down to business. We have a ton of people moving over to the new channel, which is great. Thank you to the folks who are sliding on over. We've got 9 people on the new channel, 8 on the old. So make sure you guys hit the link in the chat or the link in the description to join over to our new channel. Shawnette, Edward, Tiff Fernando already moved over. We had Lenny, Michael, Ranji, Jose. All folks need to move over to the new channel. We really appreciate you guys being here on the old channel, but unfortunately YouTube has absolutely murdered it. So make sure you've moved over to the new channel, and we'll get started on the rest of the show. So I'm seeing our numbers start to fall off. So I'm gonna end the stream over on the old channel. Thank you guys so much for being tuned in over there. Make sure you join in over the new channel. The link is in the description. And I hope to see you guys over joining us on the channel called Chandler Crump Live. The link is in the description and in the chat. So peace out to all the folks on the old channel, and hope you guys join us over in the new one. All right, I've ended the stream on the old channel, and if you're still able to see me right now, then you should be on the new channel, or you're watching me on Rumble. I haven't even given y'all a shout out, but shout out to my folks over on Rumble. We've got 10 people over there, so love y'all on Rumble. Rumble is an amazing platform with absolutely zero censorship, no scooting around the viewers. It's always a great time. So shout out to them, and shout out to the people who are absolutely insane. That is, the people that voted on this poll right here. I can't believe this is real. Talk Radio, which I don't know who they are, but they garnered a massive 200,000 votes, so obviously a large channel, with still, I think the maximum you could set is like 7 days, so like still like only a few hours down from their poll. 200,000 votes. Can a woman have the male part? 62% vote yes, 36% vote no, with 2% saying I'm not sure. Here's the actual poll itself. Now, there's been a lot of confusion about this poll, because a lot of people have been in the comments saying, this is weird. The poll was at no, and then all of a sudden it jumped to yes. We don't know what's happened. Honestly, who the heck knows what's going on down there? Women are so mysterious. Hilarious. Quick, there's a poll. The clown emoji, what does this have to do with the poll? Can a Tesla have an exhaust pipe? Dang. Yikes, that's scathing. But also, there's another one. Can men get pregnant? And here's the other one. I haven't even voted on this one. You know, given that you have a regular presenter that claims concrete can be grown, you should probably be less confident in your assertions, especially where reality is involved. Interesting. Woman describes people in terms of various social indicators. Female describes people in terms of various physical, biological indicators. Don't confuse the two. Sex and gender are not the same. Hilarious. Truly hilarious stuff. Unbelievable. But this is why people are concerned. Libs of TikTok tweeted out, "We are so screwed," when they showed this off. And for good measure. For good reason, too. People are concerned. They have to show the polls. This poll is still open. It is specifically hijacked by the trans lobby earlier today. It's starting to swing in the right direction. So if you guys want to stand up for the truth, make sure you head over. Vote in the poll. But of course, no amount of voting in the polls can make Disney, which has opted to go woke, appreciate what is scientific and general reality. Because a Disney production coordinator has come out to say that his team is committed to exploring queer stories and has created a tracker to make sure they are creating enough gender non-conforming characters and canonically trans characters, as well as canonically bisexual characters.
Space. Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And I'm on the production side. Part of the work that I feel like I can put in is um, making sure that we take place in modern day New York. So making sure that that's like an accurate reflection of New York. So I put together like a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have like the full breadth of expression. And we got into a very similar conversation, Carrie, of like, oh, all of our like gender nonconforming characters are in the background. And so it's not just a numbers game of how many LGBTQ plus characters you have. We got the further the more centered a story is on a character, the more nuanced you get to get into their story. And especially with like trans characters, you can't see if someone is trans. There's not one way to look trans.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's a funny one. But that's a question that a lot of people are asking. Why is this stuff being pushed so hard? All of a sudden, it seems that they've taken the "Don't Say Gay" bill and the whole lobby behind that and flipped it on its head, made it even more of a reason to push it on more children. Disney movies are more often than not, in fact, I think 100% of the time, under the Disney brand itself, for children, or at least parental guidance within that range. Kids are designed to watch them, whether it's their own Disney creation stuff, or it's even like smaller stuff like Pixar for younger children. This is concerning things that they're pushing, and they're just gonna keep going with it. A lot of folks are concerned. King says, "Mouse Utopia." What more can you say? Except, I guess this is where we're going. Speaking of where we're going, though, Joe Biden, who I feel like I haven't said his name in quite a bit, at least since earlier today, has signed a bill today. Now, this is a bill that passed the House and Senate very recently. It's the anti-lynching bill, which is, I mean, neither here nor there. We didn't really need it. Murder is already illegal, but apparently we needed something specifically against lynching. The bill was named after Emmett Till, and it supposedly made lynching a hate crime. So I guess more so, if somebody does it with a noose, it's no matter what, a hate crime. So it is what it is. President Joe Biden signed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act on Tuesday, making lynching a federal hate crime, after more than a century of failed efforts in Congress. The bill is named after Till, a 14-year-old black teenager from Chicago who was abducted, tortured, and shot in the head after a white woman said he whistled at her and touched her in a Mississippi store. The Senate cleared the bill on March 7th by unanimous consent, indicating no opposition after the House passed it on February 28th in a 422-3 vote. The 3 votes against the measure came from Thomas Massie, Chip Roy, and Andrew Clyde. Congress had fallen short on passing anti-lynching bills more than 200 times since 1900. Biden said during the bill signing ceremony that the anti-lynching law was not just about the civil rights struggle from decades ago, citing the 2020 shooting of Ahmaud Arbery and the white supremacist rally that took place in Charlottesville. From the bullets in the back and head of Ahmaud Arbery to countless other acts of violence, countless victims known and unknown. The same racial hatred that drove the mob to hang a noose brought that mob carrying torches out of the fields of Charlottesville just a few years ago. But unfortunately, Joe Biden didn't stop talking when he really should have. When he said, incorrectly, that Emmett Till was born nearly 40 years ago. Oh my gosh.
America and the world saw what she saw. Emmett Till was born nearly 40 years ago, after the first anti-lynching law was introduced. America and the world.
This guy is out of his mind. You would think if Biden were to be stuck in time, it wouldn't be at the beginning of the Reagan administration. Surprised he didn't call him Emmett Smith. Well, Joe thinks it's 1981. Trump said there were planes in the Revolutionary War. That's a funny one. Biden lives in 1980, brought us back to super high 80 inflation, rejuvenated the Cold War, and now this. What's next, Billy Beer? Somebody said, why is he always squinting? Uh-oh. Is that a symptom of dementia? I wonder if it is. It's a good question. Why is he always squinting? I never noticed this. But while Joe Biden is busy squinting and saying it's still the 80s and Emmett Till was born 40 years ago, Ron DeSantis is taking charge on a very important issue. Not only is he one of the only people in America to stand up for parents' rights and stand up against children being groomed, but he's joining and leading a group of people who are standing up to say enough is enough, let's get rid of these mask mandates on travel. He joins a 21 state lawsuit against federal mask mandate to end it for travel. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Tuesday announced a lawsuit by 21 states seeking to end federal masking mandates for air travel and public transportation. It is well past time to get rid of this unnecessary mandate and get back to normal life. Excuse me. What? One more. Okay. It's amazing that this has gone on as long as it has. The TSA said earlier this month that the mandate would be extended to April 18th. The CDC recommended the move, arguing that travel posed a heightened risk of infection. DeSantis blasted that decision, asserting that the masking requirements were applied arbitrarily and no longer rooted in science. The Florida governor noted that masks are no longer required at other mass gatherings, including the recent Super Bowl. DeSantis also contended that mask covering rules on planes and in transportation hubs were stunting travel and tourism, as they are. And here are pictures of Ron DeSantis, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, who said that they would not hold up in court upon lawsuits. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody maintained Tuesday that the ongoing mandates would not hold up. This order is completely outside the bounds of the scope of federal powers, as we have argued successfully in numerous other cases. The suit filed in the Middle District of Florida will ask a judge to block enforcement of the federal mask mandate. People are fed up with this. Let me tell you, anytime I have to fly for an event or a speech that I just simply can't ask people to drive me to or anything like that, It's quite insane to believe that I still have to throw on a mask for a pandemic that has absolutely no current bounds on the United States. It's falling so hard that despite the fact that corporate America and even the federal government are pushing for a fourth jab, they simply can't get over the hurdle of some experts and generally people that don't want to deal with yet another jab and are saying that this pandemic is over. We don't have to worry about this mess anymore. They're still going to try and push masks on planes. King's Refugee says, bless you, thank you. Home That says, gone are the golden oldie days when Disney movies were G-rated and safe for all kiddies. Yeah, I watched more so geared to an older audience, but I was cringing during a lot of it. There's just a lot of uncomfortable stuff that 13-year-old girl as portrayed in the movie was doing. I mean, it's probably realistic by 2022 standards, but still made me uncomfortable. That's not how I was at 13, and not how most girls I knew at 13 were either, but I guess things have changed. I was 13 in, 2018, so it only takes a couple of years, I guess. Anyways, this connects to a story that I talked about last week, actually, in which not only are state leaders and many different people jumping together for lawsuits, but airlines themselves are begging the federal government to drop mask mandates. In fact, airlines let's get that list real quick, because I believe Delta was one of them. So the CEOs of 10 U.S.-based passenger and cargo airlines, including Delta, American, and United Airlines, wrote in a letter to President Biden that we need to get rid of these mandates. Now is the time for the administration to sunset federal transportation travel restrictions, including the international pre-departure testing requirement and federal mask mandate that are no longer aligned with the realities of the current Hold on. I pronounced this word so easily before. Epidemiological environment. There you go. It's so easy. The CEOs of 10 U.S.-based passenger airlines, including Delta and American United, wrote in a letter to President Biden. The letter states that while the airlines and their employees supported the federal mask mandate when it was first implemented, especially because it did away with the possibility for airline-by-airline rules, it is no longer necessary. Southwest airline flight attendants jumped on board, asking Biden to ditch the mask mandate. In fact, it was a massive union that represents nearly 16,000 flight attendants within the Dallas-based airline that said enough is enough. Let's get rid of these mandates. Not because we disagree with the science, but because we're tired of embracing them. Our passengers are tired of them. They aren't even getting political. They aren't even getting scientific. They're just getting compliant, or more so, what's the word I'm looking for? About the hospitality side of it. Their customers are sick and tired of it. They're sick and tired of dealing with it, and they're unloading it on the flight attendants, and they're getting sick of it. They're getting sick of it. I think it's clear to see that we're all sick and tired of what the government is doing right now, and we just want to get out of it. We want to get past these mandates. We want to get past the government standing up against the anti-grooming bill in Florida. We want to get past Joe Biden saying that Emmett Till was born 40 years ago when he was actually more so born 80 years ago, and we want to get past Jen Circleback Stacky lying to our faces. So that's all I had to bring up. I want to see what you guys think. Freedom Music says Bryson Gray live, also speaking some real stuff. Yeah, Bryson's great. Rebecca says flying is bad enough without masks. Yeah, trust me, it is. We need to get away and do away with how terrible the TSA is. I mean, it's something of a bygone era, if we're being honest. The TSA is more than likely inspiring people to get active and violent more than we had it before. Honestly. Am I saying get rid of the TSA? No. But I am saying scale it back. Make it more bound on efficiency rather than security theater, because it's not keeping people safe. Everybody knows it. It's just supposed to make you feel safe. going through all the metal detectors and having your bags get scanned. What type of mess is that? It's terrible. And think about it like this. I have never known a time without the TSA. This is coming from a person who's the only times I've ever flown, I've gone through it. And I just know that flying can be so much easier. I've never lived in a time without it. To all my folks who are older than at least 20 or 30, you probably at least remember flying before 9/11, in which there was not TSA, there was not having all your going through security majorly. There was some small stuff, I believe, here and there based on your airport, but it wasn't as terrible as it is now. I don't know. That's a question I want to bring up to y'all, honestly. Rebecca says it was the flight attendant union that insisted the mandates remain. Why did the CDC bow down to them? So there's definitely some disagreements there. I see it. Shout out to everybody who is tuned in to our show today. As you guys know, we do this show every weekday on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8. I do want to let you guys know that this Friday and Thursday, we will not be having our shows like normal. I'll be doing a little bit of traveling, but of course, I will continue to bring you content as well. And also, if you're subscribed to me and following me on my alt-tech platforms like Gitter, Gab, and Telegram, then you'll never miss out on what I'm up to, as well as Twitter, although Twitter's going to ban me one day here or there. Man. Oh, hold on, I just found something. Disney corporate president says, as the mother of one transgender child and one pansexual child, many LGBTQIA characters in our side stories, she supports having, and wants a minimum of 50% of characters to be LGBT and racial minority. Oh my gosh. Sometimes just scrolling through your Twitter feed really shows you something amazing. Hold on, I gotta see this real quick before we wrap up.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me, because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple of weeks. In open forums and through emails and phone conversations. And I feel a responsibility to speak, not just for myself, but for them. To all of us, we have.
Not just for myself, but for them. So we want to make 50% either sexual or racial minorities, because that's the way to really appease the mob, isn't it? It's crazy. It's really making all those theories that people talk about of just straight up racism against white people and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess heterophobia and cisphobia. I think that's a thing against all these different groups that are what were the norm, a real thing. Underrepresentation is what's going to occur of white people, of straight people, of cis people, whatever term you want that to mean. It's going to happen, and these groups are going to become overrepresented. In fact, that's something we've actually seen in Hollywood, that some movies actually have an overrepresentation of these minority groups, that you simply don't see them as much in life. Now, a main character and a few side characters is normal, but having an entire group, or let's say 50% of characters, is going too far. Rebecca says, will Disney leave Florida? No. They'll never do it. That's because everybody wants to go to Florida. That's the thing. Despite the fact that all these people are saying Florida is the hub for racism and misogyny, and it's you're gonna die of COVID while going there. What was it? Something like it was something like 150 million people visited Florida between the year of 2021. Despite the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic and Ron DeSantis is the worst person on the face of America. He's such a big issue. These people kept going from liberal states like California and Illinois and New York, blue states where there's a lot of people, yet they're all somehow finding a way to come on down to Florida. I don't know, make it make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know what? We're not here to make sense of things. I'm just here to bring it to you guys. Laugh about it, sometimes get a little triggered, honestly, because sometimes Chandler does get a little triggered, but in a very logical way, I promise. And we break it down for you. And we'll be breaking it down once again here tomorrow at 3, so don't make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow's edition of the Chandler Brief, where we're going to break down even more news and things happening in the world, because I'm sure within the next few hours, there's already going to be a ton of craziness happening. So don't make sure you don't miss out on that. Steve Harless says they finally lifted the mandates here in Honolulu, and 90% of the people are still walking around like zombies, acting like nothing changed and living in fear. It's unbelievable. Tiff says 50-50. This is why my family and I can never go watch a new movie in the theaters. That's crazy. That's crazy. We'll just have to see what these entertainment, quote-unquote, companies do from here on out. But thank you guys so much for I really appreciate it. And shout out to everybody who hit the like button. We're actually at 23 likes. I'm very proud of this new channel. After losing my last channel, it was really hard and painful to get built up on the new channel. But I'm really proud of seeing these numbers here. So keep supporting me. Keep tuning in. I promise to make it as entertaining for you guys as possible. Reading in the chat messages. We like to have a conversation here. So anyways, once again, I can't say it enough. Thank you guys so much for being here. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.
Into the light we go.